Hello, how is everybody today? It is Thursday, 4 o'clock. I told you I'd be here. Glad to see you're here too. And you, Taylor, how you doing, hon?
Hi, I'm doing good.
Great, great. So we are going to be talking about
Good.
stocks you have brought to us. Hopefully you're here. If not, you've still got time to put them in. We have got a few people with us here that I am used to seeing. I'm glad to see the underdog, Belmore, Brian. You guys are early birds. Thank God for you because I didn't have anything set up. So I have done yours. I've
Okay.
got them all set up for you today. So why don't we just jump right on into that? I don't have any news or any specialties today. And if anything pops to mind, I'll bring it up as we're going along. So we are going to jump on into the first one, which came in from Underdog. What did you bring us today, Underdog? We have RSLS. No, RS, that's right, RSLS. Are we on the right page? Can you see me? Yes, everything looks grand. All right, make sure I'm talking to you. We are looking at RSLS, Reshape Life Sciences. Finished the day at 23 and a half cents roughly. Had a hard day, dropped about 20%. She's on the NASDAQ. She is free to trade. You can trade it pre-market, aftermarket. So what is this company about? First things first, Reshape Life Sciences is America's premier weight loss and metabolic health solutions company. They have the FDA approved lap band. It's a system that provides minimally invasive long-term treatment of obesity and is an alternative to the more invasive surgical stapling procedures. The recently launched Reshape Marketplace is an online collection of quality wellness products, including the investigational diabetes block stem neuromodulation, which they mention in the news, and their Oblong balloon technology. This is kind of weird. A non-surgical, swallowable, gas-filled intragastric balloon that is designed to provide long-lasting weight loss. I don't know if it's just filling up your tummy so you think you're full and you don't eat or what the heck that's doing. But that's what they're about. Let's get that general information before we see if we can find some catalysts here. Relative volume. We'll start there. She's normally doing 3.4 million a day over the last 30 days. Today she dropped about more than 1/3, down to 2.1 million. Share structure for the company. They don't tell us the float, but wow, look at that outstanding share count, 3.4 million. Who needs a low float when you got a low outstanding share count? Whatever the float is, it's not going to be higher than the outstanding share count. So we are guaranteed a low float. Market cap. Am I reading that right? I am $1 million on the market cap. Pretty wee. Financials for the company. And you know the reason that is, folks, it's because there's not a lot of shares here. The more shares you have, the bigger your market cap is because it's the outstanding shares times the price. So I don't talk about the market cap much because unless everybody's got the same amount of shares, it just isn't fair. Somebody has 1 billion shares and they're at 1 cent. This company's got 3.4 and they're at 23. The company at 1 cent has a bigger market cap. So if you're judging companies like that, I don't think it's fair. But that's just my opinion. Financials for the
Did this company have news around October 11th or 12th?
I'll be able to tell you that in just a second. I'm
Oh,
glad you
okay.
had something to say because my page wasn't loading. That was good timing. Financials for the company, they're doing okay. The last few years, they've been hovering between 11 and 13 million, bringing home profit, not looking bad. Quarterly, they're doing between 2 and 3 million, again, bringing in profit, looking okay. Their financials, their money in the bank, they have got $4.6 million. Assets, they got about 11, 12 million in assets and 5 million in liabilities. And this is the number you really are interested in, folks. That is shareholder equity. That's what we get. That's what's left over for us. So if that's a negative number, we're not in good shape with the company. And the bigger the number is, obviously, the better. So they're not in bad shape. Disclosures for the company, I may have that pulled up. Let's see if I've got any of those up here. I do. All right. News. What day did you want me to look at the news there?
It was about October 11th or 12th.
October. Oh, okay. We're in the
Yeah, just
ballpark.
last week.
Nope, we got nothing there. The news gaps between the 29th and the 17th. But we
Okay.
check those filings here in a second. See there. We do have lots of news here about all that stuff we were reading about. They received a grant to further develop the proprietary diabetes block stem neuromodulation device. September, Reshape Life significantly strengthens patent portfolio related to the balloon you swallow. Another one in September, the company signs an exclusive license agreement with Biorad Medisys for the oblong gastric balloon system. So it's on the market. I guess it was FDA approved, right? And that last piece of news, they had a $3 million public offering that they started on the 29th. And normally they'll tell you when it finishes because that's when they have all their money and all the shares have been sold and our shares have been diluted. So I'm not sure what they sold them for, but roughly, 3 million. Call that a quarter. You're talking about 4 for every dollar. You're talking 12 million more shares, and they had 3 million in the outstanding. So we're looking at 15 million now. So I mean, you just quadrupled the low float. I bet it fell. I bet it fell today, and I haven't looked, but you've just diluted the shareholder's value by a lot. All right, let's see what we have for the right. There was one filing there. The company has been tagged by the NASDAQ for being under a dollar for too long. Now, the strange thing here is they've been told they've got 180 days, 6 months, but normally there's a date. There's a cutoff date here, and I don't see it. And they mentioned the fact they have to fix this one way or the other, or they'll go down to the OTC. And the only way the company can really do it is through a reverse split. But now that would make sense. They can't do a reverse split with only 3 million shares. Looks like they're going to the OTC, or they're going to have to do a hell of a lot of public offerings, bring themselves in a lot of money, fill up the outstanding share count with enough shares to do a reverse split and bring it right back down to a super low number and keep their butts up on the major exchange. But how many shares can they possibly get out? They can only push the price up so far. Right now, they would have to have a 1 in 4 reverse split. So they have to have as many shares as they're putting out. That would only get them to a dollar. And the price would fall again. We'd be back in hot water. So this looks a little scary and iffy to me. And this is what I was talking about. They are putting shares on the market. 9,100 of them, units and shares. That means that's twice as many. Every warrant buys a share, maybe every 2 warrants, but every warrant, when it's cashed in, is a new share. So if they're putting 9 million more on the market, units, that is 18 million shares. 9 million now and 9 million down the road. More dilution.
I feel like we've looked at this before. Have we looked at this before?
It's not popping back into my head.
Okay.
All right, you said it was October 11th. Let's see.
Yeah.
No,
11th or 12th.
no, we don't have. The 13th is as close as we get, and the day after is never close. And that was the one I just read, that they are missing their $1 mark on the NASDAQ. So I see a lot of trouble here, folks. They've got things going on with their products. They do have shareholder equity. They've got a low float, but their price is under a dollar. They have to get it up. I don't know how much time they have left. It looks like they just got this, and normally it's 6 months after you've been told. So it would be 6 months roughly from now. So they don't have to do a reverse split now, but they're already preparing for it. They got 6 months to keep having public offerings and put shares out there. And that's good for them because they're making money. They get to keep all the money for all those shares being bought. Now, there's one thing we forgot to look at. Since we're talking about them selling all these shares, how many have they got? They can't tell us. Authorized shares. This is the maximum amount of shares they have in the bank they can put on the market. And if they don't have enough, then they ask for more. They increase their authorized share count so that they can either put them on the market or make deals or pay off debt, stuff like that. All right, I think we pretty much covered RSLS from this vantage point, and whatever happened on the 11th, it must have been retro to something that happened in the past.
Okay. Well, I'm not sure. Well, anyway, here we are. This is the daily chart. So the reason I asked that we've looked at this because it just looks familiar where there was a reverse split. So this happened at the end of December of last year. So December 23rd of 2022. So they had a 1 to 50 reverse split.
Mm.
Okay. So after that, though, look at this big spike. And this is when I say this is a big spike, it really is a big spike. Okay. So we're starting out opening that day at around $6.88 and goes all the way up to 22.45 in the same day.
Wow, over 300% in the dollar range. We're not
Yeah.
talking pennies.
Right. But that was back in the early January of this year. Okay. So we're over here now. And it does not look good. This is the day that we had a big spike in volume, and we came up to
Big
here.
spike.
Yeah, huge spike of volume. So it opened the day at around 29 cents and had a high that day of 54 cents. So it moved a lot that day. So that's why I was asking. So basically, we've come down here to this kind of like a consolidation area aside from this one day. um, I ye I don't love it.
No,
Uh,
you don't have to. Just because somebody brought it to us, it's not like a puppy or a baby. You don't have to say, "Oh, isn't she pretty?" No, if it's ugly, tell them it's ugly. It's okay.
yeah, I mean, there's really not that much to say. It's moving on volume or news of some kind, whatever this was, it did move that day. And then there's these little blips here and there where it will move quite a bit in one day and then
Yeah,
back
I don't
here.
see anything promising there. Now, what are you on there? The 4 hour,
This is the daily, so 4 hour would be like this.
right?
This is the
Still,
4 hour.
so she's come a little closer to her 50. That's about the best you can say over the last 6 months. All right, how about a 5 minute look? Is it looking at, because I can see we've had some bad days there.
Let's see. So here was today. This is the 5 minutes. So this is what happened today. Opened at around 28 cents and currently at 22.85.
Right.
So
And,
not
and
doing too good.
and with everything we were just discussing, you can understand why. We're not sure what's going to happen here. You can almost predict that they're going to flood the market with shares. Honestly, I would if I was them. I would not let myself go down to the OTC. And as many as they're putting on right now is not enough to put them in a safe zone. They're going to need 3 times as many. So I see a lot of dilution coming. And then the worst part is they're going to do a reverse split after they dilute the hell out of it, which is going to kick your average way the hell up.
Yeah.
No, I don't like this. I don't like it at all. I wouldn't play it. I'll say that. I don't tell anybody what to do with their own money, but I'm not putting mine into this.
Yeah, I'm not a fan.
All right, I think we've dogged that stock enough. If I hurt your feelings, I'm sorry. Don't take it personal. I'm not here to make anybody feel bad. I'm just telling you the way I see the stock. And I don't marry my stocks, folks. When I was trading years ago, I really got attached to my stocks. I don't do that anymore. I'm attached to the profits. That's all I want from the stock is the profits. All right, yeah, you're waiting for me. I haven't tagged my page yet. So we have one now from Belmore. Belmore has brought us LVGI, Limitless Venture Group. I've looked at this before, I'm sure many a time, because I'm quite familiar with a lot of the aspects of it. This is a 000 stock, another one under the 5. I wouldn't look at it simply because my rules say I don't look at stocks 000 and less. I just don't. So we're looking at something I would not look at. So this would be under my radar. She did have a decent day. She went up 33%, meaning she was 0003, went to 0004. She's on the pink tier. She's current. She's got those 2 green ticks I'm always harping to you about. That is validated information. And that's the only validated information you get with the pink. Even these news presses, don't count on them. Take every news press with a grain of salt. Isn't it funny how we get the best unheard of technology coming out of pinks, but none of them really ever make it to market? It's all talk. Be very careful with pinks, folks. So what is this company about? I thought I had their, we'll just scroll down here. All right. Limitless Technology Group is a wholly owned subsidiary of Limitless Venture Group and was formed as an Oklahoma limited liability company. They're a holding company that works with e-commerce, crypto, and metaverse markets. Now, I noticed too, I didn't see this here. This is a subsidiaries of theirs, Roken. Roken is a vape store. It's a big one. I mean, it's all over the nation. They sell all the units, they sell all the pods, all this stuff, but they're selling the hardware, not the goodies that you smoke, whether it be nicotine or anything else. It's just the vape. Well, this is a subsidiary of Limitless, but they've got others too. But in saying that, I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's go to the relative information first before we jump around here. All right, how'd she do today? Oh my God. Look at the drop on that volume, going from 8.2 million to just under a million. Now, the question is, how many shares does she have? She's got 596 million shares in the float, over a half a billion, and she sold less than a million of them today. You talk about being ignored. She wasn't getting a whole lot of love or even attention today. Now, this company has a billion shares authorized. They've got about 600 million outstanding. And the insiders, out of all those shares, they only own 33,000. Why? Don't they believe in their own company? You got to wonder about that sort of stuff. Market cap. Look at that market cap, $179,000, even with a half a billion shares, that little price. Imagine if they had a low float, what their market cap would be. Financials for the company, are they making any money? Why does this now? All right, while that's coming up, I had jumped into their financials because I was just trying to get information. I couldn't find a lot of it. One of the pieces of news we're going to look at is about them reintroducing Keto Sports back to the market. They've redesigned it, revamped it, repackaged it, done everything. But here on November 10th, 2022, it tells me the company exchanged 100% ownership interest in Keto Sports for 51% in a successor business that is managed by third parties. So why am I still reading news about Keto Sports today if they gave up 100% ownership in it? I don't understand that. And then I had noticed that they were involved with Roken here as well. Did our financials come up? There they are. Well, they're in the black and their revenues are growing. They dipped here in the last year, but they're still over $1 million, 1.3, getting to take home 613,000. Quarterly, revenues are growing. They jumped from 346,000 the last quarter to 440,000, and they got to take home over half of that. Balance sheets for the company. Not much money in the bank. 39,000. That's probably not enough to pay the employees. Total assets, not much there either. $1.7 million. Total liabilities, ouch, 5.8 million. So we have a negative 5 million in shareholder equity, which means we're holding the bag. That's what it means. The company isn't holding the bag. That's shareholder equity. We're holding the bag. Disclosures for the company. We got anything over here? Nothing since 2021. So was there anything else I had found for us here? No. So let's see if there was anything that we could poke our head into. I don't think there was any news here. Most of the news here is about them. Limitless Ventures Group signs another MOU with its senior secured note holders to suspend debt conversion until September 17th. Well, that's old news. So we have nothing new here. There is absolutely nothing new. Looking at the disclosures, they've got nothing new, which is why I jumped into the financials. I figured that was the only place I was going to get any information. And it was just filed in August, but that's as close as we get. We have nothing before or after August. So without doing more diving around, maybe jumping on Twitter, going to Google, I really don't know. Now, in saying that, folks, I do want to show you one other thing. Hold on a second here. I'm going to have to go somewhere that you can't see me, but I need to grab up something because I want to show this to you. I've been having a problem getting news the way I want it. Now, I'll be going in the morning looking for runners, and I will see a stock running, and I will go check the news. Well, I check all my news here at the OTC markets. Well, a lot of the news isn't coming up. Well, I found this site here. Now, this is a Canadian site, but they are bringing up American news just as well, if it'll come up slow. Right there, insider tracking. This is www.insidertracking.com. You put whatever ticker you want up here, ICU, and it is for Canadians, but it brings it up. And if there's any new news, you get an orange tab right there. So I'll go over to the OTC market. I see the stocks running at 745. I can't find no news, no financials. It's like, you got to be kidding. Well, Google is a lot of work trying to find news. It really is. And I know how to filter it. It's just a lot of extra steps. This has been helping me a lot. They seem to get the news faster than everybody else. You can see ICU has new news, and we're going to be taking a look at that here in a minute. So that's really all I got to say about LVGI. Let's take a look at that chart, Taylor.
Okay, so let's see. So we're looking at the daily chart. Starts about January up until today. So this bottom line right here is 0002, and that's where it seems to have bottomed out pretty much the last since May. That's where it bottoms out is 0002. This line here is 0004, which is where it closed at today. This is 0005. You can see that was a resistance area, and then all the way up to 0008. So your 200 on the daily chart is at 0006. So I don't love this. I mean, you
No,
can
I'm
see
sure if
what
you come down to like the 1
okay.
hour, it is going to be a bar chart. It's going to be that
This is
barcode,
exactly. Hmm.
barcode.
Yep. Lots of barcoding. This is the 1
She is
hour.
going to break out though, right? That's your 200, the purple.
Yes.
All right, so she is working her way up. She's showing signs of doing something, which, with the 000, any movement up is good movement. It's just
Yeah.
how long is it going to take to get up again? But at least we've got a crossover there, right? That 50-day is crossing our 200.
There's one. There's one. There's one. There's like 3 golden crosses right there.
So there is hope. She's at least showing the right signs, technically speaking. We're not finding any information, but
Yeah.
and
There's
that
really no.
200 is leveled off too. It's not falling anymore. It's pretty much flat.
Yeah, it's pretty flat now. This
And
is the
that's what I
200.
tell everybody. Don't expect it to break out until it's flat. Then you can presume it wants to break out if it has anything going on whatsoever.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's not a lot you can say about that except she had a poke up there to what was that, 5?
0005. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
so
this
that was like
line
about a
here.
week ago.
Yeah. That's the end of September, and yeah, the last week of September is when it get up there. Back in June, we got all the way up to 0008. So I mean, when it has volume and
100%.
can move, then it'll
And
move. Otherwise,
that was from the 4 point too, wasn't it?
hmm
Yeah, it jumped from 4 to 8 that one day. Short-lived. Yeah,
yeah,
so I guess what's really important here is that it looks like there's a reason for it to be pushing up a little bit, but we couldn't find anything out there. So we need to find some more information. All right, we can move on over to Brian. He wants to look at Bior, ticker BIOR. Let's close this one and bring up Bior. Biora Therapeutics. This is a biotech. It's running at $2.35, just under 12% gains today. She jumped a quarter. Let me go turn off that. I don't know if you guys can hear that, but I can sure hear that blip. There we go. So she's on the NASDAQ as well. So what is this company about? Biotherapeutics is a biotech company that is reimaging therapeutic delivery by creating innovative smart pills designed to target drug delivery to the GI tract and systemic and needle-free delivery of biotherapeutics. The company is developing therapies to improve patients' lives. They're focused on 2 therapies, NavCap. This is targeted oral delivery platform, which is designed to improve outcomes for patients with inflammatory bowel disease. And the other one is BioJet, systematic oral delivery platform, which is designed to replace the injection for better management of chronic diseases through needle-free oral delivery of large molecules. So trying to get away from piercing the skin and swallowing everything. So what has this company got going on? Well, our relative volume jumped today, thank God, going from a very low 118,000 to over 500,000, 674,000. Not huge numbers, but at least it's going in the right direction. Share structure for Bior. Don't know what the float is, but it's near a low float, and it may be a low float. Outstanding shares is only 13.8 million. Market cap, 29 million. Financials for this company. Is this biotech making any money, or are they all research and development? By golly, why does the financials take so long to come up? All right, what I did while we're waiting for that, you got to go where you got to go. I see that they are doing, I found a couple pieces of filings that talk about them putting warrants and putting shares on the market, but they weren't telling me how much. I found over here, it says total of 37,600,000. Well, you come over to the price there, 37 million, just make it easy. Call it $2. You're talking about 14 million more shares onto, what was it we had? 13 million, 14 million. So they're doubling it. So you could anticipate, based on the filings, just on that one, that the price is going to fall 50%. They've doubled the share count. They've taken away half of the value of the shares. Now we got our financials. Patience, it's a virtue. Not good. Look at this. 2019, $143 million. Is this the same company? They were making $43 million profit, have fallen all the way down to $305,000. In case you got lost here, we got to add 3 zeros to any of the numbers down here. $305,000 for 2022, and they got to keep it all. Now, I don't know how you produce a drug, manufacture it, package it, and sell it and not have to pay anything. I think this is consultation or a license fee or something like that. Let's check out their quarterlies. Look, they're down to $2,000 a quarter. Every 3 months, $2,000. Balance sheet for this company. Well, they got more money in the bank than they're making. $26.5 million in the bank, 50 million in assets, and oh my God, 170 million in liabilities. Shareholders are holding $126 million in debt. All right, what else did we have here? We already looked at that. Let's check this news out. We have news covering a couple things here. They have reduced their debt by 50 million. They told us this in September. Largest shareholder increase in equity exposure. We need it big time. The company reduces, we just read that one. That came from a different piece of news. They just want to re-emphasize they're doing it. Biora Therapeutics announced the submission of a new drug application to the US FDA for BT600 program. This is the start of all the trials. You got to introduce the drug. Hey, FDA, we want to introduce you our drug. We'd like to go through some phase trials. Sure, we'll pay millions of dollars to do it. And the last piece of news we got here came out at the beginning of October. The company presents data on the BioJet systematic oral delivery platform at the 59th annual meeting of the European Association for Study of Diabetes. Now, those always look like boring pieces of news. You see these meetings, these conferences. They're not. I mean, this is the word getting out. This is the right people talking about the company. Now, people like me, they're talking to people who are going to use the product or buy the stock. Either way, they're generating revenues. So this is always good news. And one of the things I look for is they'll give you a date sometimes, and they'll say, well, this is going to happen October 28th. Well, a few days after October 28th, see if anybody starts buying stock or doing business with them. See if they stimulated anything. Is there anything else I've got here? Yeah, we've got one piece of news. We already covered that. The BT600 drug device combination delivering a liquid formulation of some drug, the NaviCap platform for the treatment of ulcer, a disease. That's why I hate doing biotechs. The technical jargon is too much. All right, hon, I'm going to turn this over to you now.
Okay, so BIOR. All right, so this is the daily chart, and as you can see, we've had some big spikes in volume and big movement here. So this
Yep.
happened after a stock split. I think it was a reverse split, 1 for 25, and that was
Gee.
in January. So, and then look what happened after that. So that's pretty good. Not really moving on any kind of earnings report. They're not really reporting much anyway, so um, that's not really a thing. So whatever's making this move, we got to figure that out and get on it because this has actually been moving the last few days. So this week, this is what it's been looking like. This is the 1 hour, by the
Yeah,
way.
that's a beautiful chart. That's one I
Oh
would
yeah,
talk about.
yeah,
Although right now you've got to be careful. This is the point where people would want to take gains. You need another oomph, something to keep it going. It is looking nice, isn't it?
yeah. This has been really moving the last few days. It moved. There was must have been some kind of news here, the 19th, that had a lot of movement that day, and then sold off immediately. So I don't know what was going on there. It hasn't sold off yet over in these 2 days. So like this happened on Wednesday, and then this was today. So we have not really sold off yet. That's good because this was a lot of movement. It sold right off the next day, and maybe this is promising that it's not selling off immediately. They have to have had some kind of news or something because it has not sold off yet. Whereas other times it sells immediately off.
Yeah. People
So,
taking their gains quick.
yeah.
I've seen a lot of comments on Twitter about people who are upset. Why don't you just let it run? Because we can't all get in agreement. We're not all going to play the same game. And right now, that is sad to say, rips and dips. And it's
Yep.
open because people are taking their profits. And if you don't take your profit, you're the guy holding the dip. So what can you do? Take your gains. I hate to say that because I got a lot of stocks that I would like to see continue running. But that's the nature of the market right now.
I think that's about it.
All right. We have another stock here. This one comes from, oh, now how did I skip him? Hold on now. AVTX. All right. I got ICU up here, Jerome. I don't know how I missed you, buddy. AVTX. We're going to jump into Real Smith's ICU and then I'll backtrack to AVTX. Thank you. I see the blue dot bouncing around there. So we are looking at C Star Medical Holdings Corporation, ticker ICU, on the NASDAQ. Finished today at $1.19. Had a very good day. Over 54% gains, jumping about 42 cents today. So, what is this company about? Well, let's jump into this piece of news because this is a good piece of news we got here. They tell us down here that C Star Medical is a medical technology company that is redefining how extracorporeal therapies may reduce the consequences of excessive inflammation on vital organs. C-Star's medical novel technologies rely on science and innovation to provide life-saving solutions to critically ill patients. The company is developing and commercializing cell-directed extracorporeal therapies that target the effector cells that drive systematic inflation, causing direct tissue damage. Trying to keep the swelling down, find the right T factors. They've been working on this for a while now. If you can calm down the way we respond to things, we overreact to it and our cells become the problem. So we're finding ways to calm ourselves down so that we don't swell up and overreact. So this was a big piece of news that came out today. We're going to have to come back to this because I want to take a look at the relative volume first. Whoa, there you go. Relative volume is huge, jumping from 15 million to 137 million. You're looking at 6, 7, 8, about 8 times her normal volume there. Share structure for the company, not bad. Outstanding share count is under 20 million. We're at 18.5 and the float's going to be less than that. Market cap here is pretty low. We're at $14.3 million. Financials, hey, it came up this time because there's nothing on it. We have nothing on the annual, nothing on the quarterly. Money in the bank is only 13,000. Total assets, 2.3 million. Oh, lots of liabilities, 13.7 million. That means shareholder equity is negative 11.5 million. All right, let's see what we can find here. We did have news. The news came out today, which is why it ran. The FDA grants C-Star Medical Selective cytoferritic device breakthrough designation for hepatorenal syndrome. I don't have a clue about any of that, but it was good news. Don't know what the device is, don't know what it's helping, but the market took off for it. Anything prior to that provides regulatory update regarding the device, right? Everything is about that device. Published in the Journal of Blood Purification, acute kidney injury. They've probably got other items in the pipeline, so to speak, but I don't see a whole lot of information here. Let's see what we got over in our disclosures. I think this could be offering shares or a shareholder meeting. Let's see what we got here. Star has issued a press release disclosing uses pediatric acute kidney injury under human device. They got something going on here. This was older news back in October that they actually made a filing for. Looks like a couple filings all came out on the 6th. A lot of stuff happened on the 6th. That's the same news there. What did they repeat it 3 times?
What about yesterday? Was there a news released yesterday? Some piece of news released yesterday?
Yesterday.
I see like a bunch of volume around the very 1st of October, like October 2nd, 3rd, and then it levels off, and then another spike in volume started
Yeah, as a
yesterday.
matter of fact, that piece of news I just told you about their device getting breakthrough designation was yesterday, not today.
Okay.
That was yesterday, but she's still running today. Obviously, there's no
Yep.
other news, so that was big news, which just means breakthrough device now means that it's moving ahead. They want to sell this. They're the only ones that have it. Every hospital, every doctor is going to want a device that makes things easier, safer. So anytime anybody has a device that gets through, it doesn't have to go through all those phase trials. It means it's right on the cusp of hitting the market, and that's when you're going to get business. So that makes sense. How come I do think I posted this news in the morning. I think I did. It does sound vaguely familiar. All right, I think we've covered everything here for ICU except the chart. So take a look at that, Taylor.
Okay. So this is the daily
Oh,
chart. Yeah, as you
yeah.
can see, we had some bad earnings, I guess. It had to have been this. That was the only other news that
Yep.
was mentioned. So it did move on earnings, but it didn't move over here this time. So I don't know. I feel like we've looked at this before, but I could be totally wrong. So just to let you know what's been going on the last few days, we bottomed out here at around 18 cents, about 17, 18 cents, and then started running up to about this resistance around 59 cents, and ran to a high today of a dollar 24, and it is now at a dollar 14. So it has been running a lot. From 17 cents up to a dollar 24 is enormous. That's what, 10 times the amount you come in with, 10x
Yeah,
your money.
that's a penny stock dream right there. What are you
Yeah.
on the daily?
This is the daily. Yeah, I'll go to the 4 hour now. This is what the 4 hour looks like.
Wow.
So, the last few days, mostly is the very beginning of October, like I said, then it kind of just mellowed out and then started to run on this last piece of news. As you can see, it's
Yeah,
not really
all
slowing down
all
either.
that run looks to me because all the news is
Mhm.
synced with this about that device. That they knew it was coming up and it hit. God, that's really exciting. That
Mhm.
is, I don't know. I think I did talk about this company. How could I have missed that chart? I talked about this October 2nd, and you said it's been running since then.
Mhm. Yep.
Oh, okay. Well, we looked at this at the perfect time. We looked
Yep.
at it October 2nd.
I was gonna say it looks familiar. I feel like we've looked at it before. Oh, you guys looked at it. I was not there for that.
No, I covered this in a video October 2nd, and it looks
Oh,
like that
okay.
was darn good timing. Honestly, folks, I've been getting very depressed. I cover 3 stocks a day. You're looking at 45 stocks a month, and I've been going through them trying to share these big gains. And no matter what the catalyst, no matter how hot the charts, a lot of them we've been looking at have still been falling, and it's very frustrating. So I'm glad to see one we looked at rocketed.
Yeah, this one, yeah, it started running like the very 1st of October, kind of came back down and then just completely broke through everything. So
What's
it
our
is
short
running
term?
hard.
You think we're going to get any more out of it?
Possible.
What's that 5 minute look like?
Let's see. Here's the 5 minute. It's
That's not
really
looking
good.
bad.
It looks good to me.
That's what I say. If your low bubble's in one corner and the high bubble's in the other corner and your 200 stretching across, what more can you ask for?
It does tend to move a lot during the pre-market hours, I've noticed. So this is
Oh,
all pre-market movement.
oh, is
All
that
of this.
all pre-market?
This right
Yeah,
here that's in the
yeah.
ground. So this is during the day and then this is after hours trading. So it moved a lot pre-market. That was today. So yeah, I mean that's quite a bit. I mean from about 95 cents all the way up to a dollar 26, dollar 24.
And it came back up to it at the end of the day.
Mhm. It
Yeah,
did.
this looks like a nice setup. This looks like it's going to go to the next level.
Mhm. I like this one a lot.
I like ICU myself. Yep, that's a good one. Somebody brought us a hot chart.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, I missed. I haven't been paying attention to it. I posted the news this morning, but I did not go look at the chart. All right, backtracking now. Going to Jerome Horace. Haven't got anything set up for you, Jerome, so we're going to play this by ear. Let's start off with a description of the company by just grabbing a piece of news here and going down. What do they say? Oh, are we back to We've talked about this one before twice. This is Avalo Therapeutics, AVTX. They are working with this LIGHT, which is an acronym. Again, just like that other biotech we just got done looking at, they have found things in our body that if they can control the way they react, they can control diseases, they can control inflammation, they can control our organ shutdown. And they are getting a handle on how to control what's already in us rather than put chemicals in us to change the way we feel, actually change the actual cell itself, make it compliant to do what you want. So that's what this company is all about. Get out of here. Oh, I brought in a bowl of grapes in here. I've got more fruit flies in my room now than I can deal with. Relative volume for AVTX. Wow. Here's a drop from 130 million down to 38 million. Lost about over 60%. Share structure for the company. It's a decent share structure, 20 million outstanding. Float's going to be, well, nothing over that. Could be considerably less. Super small market cap, folks, 2.8 million. All right, let's see if we can find some reason for this thing to move. Has there been anything new since we looked at it last? I mean, really, if you're just having us look at the charts, you should just say this is one for Taylor. Because if there's no new news, there's nothing for me to look at. I'm just wasting everybody's time here. I don't see anything since the 27th. I know we've looked at it since then. Disclosures. All right. We do have a disclosure. You're lucky. We got a disclosure here. What's this about? Let's see. The board of directors of the company approved the company's fourth amended restated bylaws. That is the most boring one. You know, I honestly have very little information to say about bylaws because I don't know what they involve because they never caught my attention. I've never found a reason to study into them. So I don't know what a bylaw is about. I see that a lot. I do see it a lot. So if you think it's important, and they tell us we got a stockholders meeting, in case you didn't know, that's going to be December 5th, 2023. Wow, they really told you in advance. Did they tell us here? Yes. What are we going to be voting on? You'll be voting on electing 5 directors. Uh-oh. You're going to be voting on a reverse split. Did we ever cover this before? I don't think this came up. No, they say they're going to vote on a reverse split December 3rd. So there's your timeline. It's going to be anywhere from 1 to 5 to 1 to 250. That's a huge difference. Ratify an appointment of somebody. You don't care. The rest of it doesn't matter. You heard the important one there. So they've got a meeting on December 5th to vote on this, and you don't know when it's going to happen. If it's approved, it could happen the very next day, or it could happen a year later. And if you get into it 10 months later, if they approve it in December, they don't have to tell you in a news press, hey, we're doing a reverse split tomorrow. You'll wake up and you'll say, why didn't they tell us? It was already approved and told you months ago. So when you get into a company and you're thinking about a long hold, you should go through all the filings. Go through their last meeting. See if they voted on a reverse split. See if it's at discretion of the management to do any time they want. You could end up being caught off guard. 8K? Really? Do we have to go that far back? Annual meeting. All right, that's really all we got here. I don't see any other information to actually share. Their financials, we can look at them, but we haven't come out with one. Naturally, it's going to be slow. That's the best news we got here, is that their financials are good. They have really increased, jumping from 5 million to 18 million. But this always concerns me. Let me take a look at the quarterly. I say this every time we're here. I know I do. This only happened in one quarter. They sold something. They sold a facility. They sold an asset, some IP, something. They got paid. It was revenue. It got shoved into this quarterly report. It got shoved into the annual report. But now we're back to normal. And we've fallen down to $643,000, and we are losing money. This was the only time, well, they were making money the quarter after that. What was that? Oh, I thought you said something. All right.
And me?
Yeah, I thought you said that. It could have been a dog barking. I got dogs in the house. Nothing personal. I didn't. All right. Let's move on to a stock. AVTX Taylor, how's that chart look?
Okay. So this is interesting because we have looked at this before on the 21st and the 28th of September.
Oh, I like
So
that. I like that.
yeah, I've been keeping track, or I didn't last week because I forgot. Uh, so anyway, this was the hourly chart, and I remember saying something about, watch for this to break out, and because this was already drawn on here. So we zoom in. That was just a few days later. It came out of that um, wedge, and then came back, retested it, and then
Yeah.
ran the entire day. That was last Thursday.
Yeah,
So
that's
that
a nice
happened
run.
just last Thursday. So that looks, I mean, it did break out exactly like we kind of expected. Then it kept running, so it kept coming down to the
Yeah.
all of these mixed up EMAs, and then it would break out, and it kept doing that over and over. You can see how this pattern is. It just keeps until this was this week, until so it looks like it just could not regain this. It had been slipping, and it completely just fell off the map.
Bad.
Yeah. So so like
Yeah,
this high.
and without any news, well, we did have a
Right.
couple, the filings. Remember, they just got done telling us about a reverse split in the new filing that came out. So there's your anti-catalyst reason right there.
Yeah. So any of these levels of support that would have been support totally broke right through it. So this is not a good time to buy. It does not look good right now, but it did
Absolutely.
show some good. I think people
Not,
are just taking profits and stuff.
yeah, I'm sure it was only 3 days ago that we had that filing come out, the 17th. Is that when she started falling?
Yeah,
Yep.
about then.
And they haven't even done it. They've just warned you they're going to vote on it 2 months from now, 3 months from now. What do you
And a
think
lot
is
more
going to go
selling
on with this?
volume.
The next 3 months, this stock's going to be who knows where, because the fear, this jeopardy is going to be there until you get past December 5th. Oh, that's a horrible long period there. I don't
Yeah.
like that. I myself, if I was holding and not at a huge loss, I'd probably evacuate right now. Take whatever gains you got, because I don't think it's going to be pretty for the next a couple months.
Doesn't look very good right now. All right.
No, no, it doesn't look good. All right. I haven't been looking over here. Oh, Real Smith sneaking in another one there. He's backing up Kashera. Both of them want to see NHMD. You almost confused me, LT, with your hit the like button, all capitals. I thought that was a ticker, LIKE. All right, so we're going to go take a look at Nate's. That's what this is. I knew I recognized this. NHMD. I haven't looked at Nate's in a while here. Every time we look at it, she keeps running. She's up again. Nate's Food is doing a merger right now. If I can remember, we'll find some information. They're doing a merger with JR Energy, is it? I think I got that right. They're going to be selling sugar to China. They got 600,000 metric tons, sending it over in 2 shipments, 250,000 in one, 350,000 in the second. God, do I actually remember all of that? So NHMD finished today at 00165. Not a bad price if you like to get them at great buy prices. All this has to do is get up to 3 and you've doubled your money. She was up 3% today. She's on the pink. This always scares me. Take the news with the grain. Matter of fact, I do remember the big thing about this stock was that it was all contingent on JR Energy getting the financial money backing to do the deal. Well, that's a huge if. I mean, that is the deal, the money. They got a transfer agent verified, which is validated information, and that's real important. You should do a study one day on exactly what a transfer agent does for the company. You would be surprised and wonder why everybody doesn't have a verified transfer agent. The other one is a verified profile. We'd like to see that. There's a lot of little pieces of information that are validated by the OTC market. That's their job. Believe it or not, the OTC markets is on the OTC markets. You can invest in them, and this is their business right here. So let's see what we got for that news. Let's see if we got this all right. Security restricted preferred shares. Nope. Here, JP. I was close. I said JR. I had Dallas on my mind, I guess. All right. So they tell us JP Energy Group, a food jobber company. The transaction is an accounting of a reverse merger. They are going to be JP Energy Group, established September 2023, not too long ago, with the purpose. This is the only reason they started the business of fulfilling and executing on a contract executed by JP Energy Partners, as disclosed in our 8K. JP Energy entered into a contract for the supply of up to 600 metric tons of sugar to be delivered to China, comprising 2 shipments. Already said all that. All rights, Energy has secured there. JP Energy Partners has transferred all rights to the sale of the sugar mentioned above to JP Energy Group. JP Energy Group has secured the necessary financing. Well, now that's a huge difference. JP Energy has secured the necessary financing. I don't see a problem here. I don't know where I was reading. Maybe I did read it in an older piece of news, but it looks all good here to me. Was there anything new on top of this? 10-3, 10-12, a firm's commitment to shareholders, no reverse stock split. Oh, God, that's as good as gold right now. I just had another reverse stock split, UVAS, a drone company, Aereo. God, I think that's 53 reverse stock splits I had. I had somebody on Twitter screaming at me why I didn't average down BOMO. Look, when you have 53 stocks, take away $70,000 from me because of reverse splits, you can't average them all down. I didn't get into them all at once. There's no way I can average them all down. That's what happens in a crunch to COVID, man. I got stuck with a lot of stocks that fell. And in February 2021 was my best month and my worst month, without a doubt. So we have a promise here. They're not going to do a reverse split before January 1st, 2025, unless the company is uplisting to the NASDAQ or the New York Stock Exchange. Well, that's the only time I ever want to see a reverse split. That's worth it. If you're going to put our stock up on the major exchange, I'm willing to pay for that. But if you're just reversing it to put yourself up over a penny or save yourself from, I don't know, all these reverse splits I'm not liking. So we've got 3 months of safety here. I don't know why they picked that date. I'd watch that date. Put it on your calendar somewhere, folks. We do all this DD and see important information, and a week later, you've totally forgotten about it. And when January 1st comes along, you're not thinking about this. And then they do a reverse split, and you go, oh, man, I remember. You should have a notebook somewhere keeping tabs on this stuff. Let's see if we have any new disclosures for NHMD. We got one. I think this is for shares. Important notice regarding internet availability of information statement for Nate's Food. Are they having a problem with uh, internet availability information? This notice presents an overview of the more complete information. I guess it's just the information they said they wanted to give to you. Approval of the acquisition of JP Energy Group. And here's some documents. I would take the time to come over here and read this, folks. If you're jumping into this company for this merger, for this run, this is the information that you need. And we don't have the time to go through it. It says here, though, one very important piece of information. It is expected that the acquisition will close on or before October 31st. So we've got 10, 11 days before it should close. It could run all the way until then. It could. Anything else here I'm seeing that pops out at me? Extended closing date, additional information? No. All right. That was some extra information. I'm glad we found that. So let's go take a look at this chart. I know it's a pretty one.
Yep, it definitely is. So we have looked at this, but oh, hold on. Wrong one. Hold on. There we go. Okay.
We've got as many dates for this one.
Oh yeah, we got more. Yeah. So we looked at this last week as well.
God, look at that. It's a staircase.
I know, and I remember because we have looked at this, and I said that this 0017 level was really important. So you can tell we've kind of seen a little resistance there.
Right?
But back here, it was a really good support and turned into resistance. And you could see that multiple times over the past year and a half. So I'm interested to see how this continues on, if it's going to be able to hold this level for a longer period of time, and maybe we can see some even more continuation, or if it's going to come back down to this level. I'm interested to watch this one for sure.
Yeah,
Definitely.
she's at a very decisive point right now. She has broken it and come right back down, right where
Yep.
you got that support from.
Yep.
But she's got catalysts that could run another 10 days.
Mhm.
Now this is the funny thing. When they talk about these deals, you see them run, run, run. As soon as the deal is closed, that's it, folks. They come crashing down. I don't know why. Profit takers say the game's over now. There's nothing more to on the table. It's a done deal. So I would watch right up until that date. But she is looking good. I got to tell you, that is a hot chart with 10 more days of possible gains.
Yeah,
to
I
go.
like this a lot. I'm really interested to see how it holds up around this level.
Boy, that
Really,
50 is holding up a lot of weight.
yeah, I'm really interested to see this one. So I'm going to be watching this for sure. So keep this on your watch list. I am for sure. I like this one.
All right. I see we got a bunch here. Mike O'Done is put in MMV. Didn't I just cover this? This sounds familiar. Any idea what the stock price will go to when the merger is complete? People are saying there's no clear agreement, just saying they're hoping they will propose transaction in the second half of the year, which can be canceled if they want to. Well, the sad thing is, MMV, we'll go look at that. Sad thing is, I don't know. Let's see if this is a pink sheet. It's not. It's a NASDAQ. Pink sheets, they're always saying they're going to make a deal and breaking deals. You see this over and over again. It's a bad ploy. NASDAQ stocks, they've got more on the line. I think there's more credibility with these companies. So when they do say something, I trust them a heck of a lot more. It's not to say they can't still pull the wool over our eyes. So we're looking at MMV, Multi-Metaverse Holdings, which has nothing to do with the metaverse. I did cover this just a couple of days ago. And as much as I remember of the other stock, this one's coming up blank for me right now. Finished today at $1.27. Glad to see she has a gain, 7.5%. She is a shell company. She's in business, not making any money. That's right. And I'm surprised why they aren't making money. I remember she's starting to come back to me. All right, let's see what the deal is we got here. Enters into Taomi. Right, starting to come back. Metaverse Holdings, an animation and entertainment company catering to China's youth market, announced today that it has, through its subsidiary in China, entered into an agreement to acquire 100% equity in Shanghai Shengran Information Technology and the associated interests pertaining to it, all of their subsidiaries. MMV expects to complete this transaction by the end of this year. The acquisition will be a major milestone for MMV expanding their portfolio. Now, Tehomi is their own entity. They're a big company over there. They've been around for about 10, 15, 18 years. And a lot of their stuff is older, but they've accumulated a huge audience over the years. So the two of them are coming together. They have cartoons, video games, they sell toys, night lights, frappes, whips to make your coffee airy. I mean, they have lots and lots of products. I remember all of that. So you're saying that you don't think this deal is going through now. Everything we've just read sounds good. Xiaomi's users, Xiaomi Pioneer purchase price during the year. I'm not seeing anything here that looks negative. I don't see anything of that. It all looks good to me. Let's go back, see if there's any other piece of news here. That's Seeking Alpha. Can't read any of Seeking Alphas. They want to charge me. Multiverse.
Is there anything from June 1st or 2nd?
Well, if there was, I can't get to it because it don't go that far
Oh,
back.
okay.
from
Never
here.
mind.
But I'll check the filings here in a minute. All
Okay.
right, this should be good for us. Multiverse announces listing transfer to the NASDAQ capital market. Well, October 16th. Where were they? Hold on here a second. I'm going to go to an old piece of news here. Let's go back to this one here. Where do they say? What market are they on here? Get away from me, you little bug. The NASDAQ notification from the NASDAQ. Ah, I see. So they were in some sort of trouble. I'm not quite sure what was going on here, but they tell us that they're back on the NASDAQ. And it's like, weren't you already on the NASDAQ? What's the problem? The company for young consumers, listing qualification for its application to transfer listings of its 8 ordinary shares and warrants. The company previously submitted application to NASDAQ to transfer the listing. The transfer will be effective October 17th, 2 days ago. I'm a little confused here. Normally, if they were on the OTC Pink, you go to an old piece of news, that's what it'll say, OTC Pink. But we don't have any news that can go back far enough. I can't even remember. No, I remember she had warrants. When I talked about it, she had warrants because the warrants is what caught my attention. The warrant was running hot. And I came and looked at the stock and it's like, well, the stock should run too. So MMV has a warrant. And warrants, man, I'll tell you, if the company runs, the warrant is based on it. Now, this is a low stock, but normally you'll see the warrant go to about 30% when it's having a hot day of the price of the stock, just an average. So if it's not, if there's not a big gap, if it's down at 1 cent, well, there's a huge gap for 30% there. So you buy it at 1 or 2 cents. If news comes out, the stock's going to move some, the warrant's going to move a lot, but it's going to probably drop. Everything drops right now. So take it as you can get it. So what was the relative volume around the company today? Not much. Dropping from 45,000 to 38,000. Share structure. Oh, juicy. We've got a low outstanding share count of 2.5 million. Our float can be anywhere up to that. So we've got a very, very low float, which means this thing can move very fast in both directions. It catches an updraft, it can really fly. But if the bottom falls out of it, it can really come down quick. Financials for the company. I don't think they had any money because they're a shell company, right? We got nothing here. But I do remember their balance sheet being pretty decent. 442,000 in the bank, 24 million in assets, 5 million in liabilities. Look at that. Shareholder equity, 18 million. And I do believe that covers everything we've got here. So let's take a look at this chart for MMV.
Oh, hang on. Okay, so
Take your time. We got all day.
this is the daily chart. I just
Oh,
wanted
fine.
to show how crazy this has been. So this was here was around January, first week of January, got up to over $17, like $17.70. Right here is about
Okay, now the reason it got that high, that's the day it came on the market. That's the day it shot up.
well,
I
it
think
had
there was a SPAC or something before.
okay. Yeah, because if you see back here even, so I don't know what happened here between like the 2022, all of 2022. It's just kind of flat, and then this happened, and then it completely bled off. Cause so it was trading here, or I don't know if it was being traded actively, but you can see it's just not moving at all. So I don't know
Wow.
what was going on with it. So I have no idea. Um, but we got up to a high of $17, and now where we are now is at $1.20. So what we did have something
Finally.
in June. That's why I asked you about the June thing, because we went from a low of around 91 cents and got all the way up to $4 that day.
Oh, right, right. That
Uh, uh,
$4, right?
yeah. So
Well,
here's where
finally
we
the
are
200
now.
close. Finally.
Yeah, we're kind of getting there where it looks like it's wanting to bounce off this. So I think we've got a nice level here. It's around 91 cents, give or take. So I like that level for a good support, but I want to see. Ooh, this is interesting. I want to see if it will finally bounce off of this and have another big move like this. There has to have been some news. I don't know what it was, but
Well, as you go down the chart, I'll go see if I can find something on Google real quick here.
okay. Yeah, so
What
it
was
looks
that date? March 31st?
no, June 2nd.
June 2nd. Okay.
Or June 1st. June 1st or June 2nd.
Yes, you can do your thing while I'm doing mine.
Oh no, I'm just looking to see what day was what. Monday, June. Okay, so I see what's going on. They might have announced it that day. This was from Friday, and then the next month, the following Monday. Yeah, I was just looking at the time frame if there's any other thing. I didn't see any splits either. So it
What was
must
the
have
date?
June 2nd.
June 2nd. They had news. Multi-Metaverse announces term sheet signed to acquire equity stake in Tahomey.
Okay.
So they acquired some of it. Now they're acquiring all of it. And I guess that was the first big bounce.
Well, that was the big bounce right here. Yeah. Ton of volume just came in and made that move. That is a heck of a move. So
Right.
yeah,
So it's
I'd be
almost like
interested
I
to
said,
see.
the first time you hear about a merger, you get the biggest jump. Every piece of news after that tapers down. Even though they're getting closer to closing the deal, the jumps get smaller and smaller.
Yeah, we'll have to keep an eye on this though and make sure you get out. That's a several 100% move right there, right?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Under a
Now,
dollar
now
to
what are you on
four?
there? The daily? Let's check out
Yep.
the hourly.
Uh-oh. Oh, there we go.
Wow.
I don't know what happened. Okay.
Well, it was just that there was such a drop from the $17 that it was really skinny, really skinny.
Yeah, so this is the hourly. Um, so like I said, I think this is a good support area around 91 cents. So in the hourly, I mean,
Yeah, it's struggling to. It's not doing anything. It's going sideways, up and
yeah,
down,
or
up and down.
sideways kind of.
Oh, it's staying under the 200. I mean, the 200 and the
Mhm.
50. It doesn't want to really get anywhere right now.
No.
Um, I'm expecting a break. I really am, especially now. I don't get it. That's Nasdaq stuff is confusing me. Can you take a real quick look while we're here at the warrant? Add a WW to the end of that ticker.
Added double, like just straight onto it.
No, yeah, MVVWW.
Oh,
Yep.
okay. There we go.
Yeah, she had some jumps on that same day, some huge jumps. I think she went from a nickel to 60 cents, which is 1,200% gains.
Uh-oh. It keeps freezing.
I see
Uh,
that.
okay, so
Yep.
this was back in August that it had that big jump.
And what's that next one to the
The
right?
So here that was last Friday, the 13th.
How big was that one?
So went from a low of about a penny, 0.013 to 0.2250.
What?
Yep.
Oh my God, that's 2,200% gains.
Yeah, the low that day was 0.0165, give or take, and the high was 0.2282219 or
Can you imagine
223.
that? Now, if you're going to invest in warrants, folks, there's not a lot of liquidity. There's not a lot of volume. They move on very little, and it's popcorn volume. It'll move and stop, move and stop. When it runs, it will jump. It can do 10, 20, 30%, 100, 2,200 in one day. Only put in $50 or $100. Don't get silly. You could get caught holding this for a long time. But $100 at the price she just said would have got you over $2,000. $100 in that warrant. Unbelievable.
Yeah.
But warrants aren't getting a lot of love here recently. But there is always that with a stock on the NASDAQ. 9 out of 10 have warrants. So if you like the stock, check out the warrant. If the stock is running hard, I assure you that warrant is most likely running hard and harder. I see we have run past 5 o'clock today. I was having such a good time. And we missed a few people here. I'm sorry. Michael Anthony, he's upset that dish keeps falling every time it gets up. It's stuck in a channel right over the $5 mark. Yeah, I hate them channels too. Michael Anthony can't buy pink sheets. Pink. Now, do you mean all the OTC market? Not all brokers sell pink sheets compared to blue sheets, the major exchange. OTCs are sold by Fidelity, TD Ameritrade, Schwab, investors, something or other, investors, something. There's about 5 or 6 of them out there that sell all the OTC. Most of them don't, and most of them charge one way or the other. Anything else we got here? Hello, Daniel. Good to see you, my friend. Look at all those. I like these comments, folks. Chris Fidel, we did cover. Oh, AITX. No, we didn't cover that. I am invested in that company. I don't know why it's not climbing faster. Robots are going to be the future. And the way I'm thinking about it, security, that is just how they're breaking into robots. Think about it. Robots can do anything we want them to do. What is AITX going to want their robots to do next? It's a good company to consider. All right. I've covered everything. We got to get out of here, folks. I know you're hungry. I know I am. Thanks for being here, Taylor.
Thanks.
Woman of many words, many words. All
Oh,
right,
sorry.
folks. We will see you next week. Same place, same time, different hat. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Oh, I didn't